Hello, folks. Welcome to the orbit of the coding. So today I'm going to explain what is Angular form. So Angular form is basically a powerful feature in Angular application where we can use to manage, collect data or the validation from the user inputs based on the Angular forms. So if you got the requirement from your applications, like you need to create some contact form, you need to create profiles, or you need to manage login credentials. So in many places, we can use Angular forms. So Angular forms, we have two type of Angular forms. One is template driven Angular form, and another one is reactive Angular forms. So I have prepared some small PPT I can show you. So in the template driven forms, the key feature is in we can use ng model for two-way data bindings, require form modules. We can use ng forms, or in this template driven forms we have validation is done using directives like require min length etc. And in the template driven forms we can use here you can see that, but I can show you in the code levels. We can just go through the some explanations. So in the reactive forms the key features are like we use form controls, form groups, form builders, and we need to require a reactive forms module to, like, if we need to use reactive forms, then we need to add in the Angular modules to reactive form modules. Or in reactive forms, we can manage a validation through the component class. So I can quickly show you to the examples, right? So I have already prepared the template driven and reactive forms. So quickly I'm going through the all the like code levels, how we can use template driven forms. So here you can see that in the template driven forms we have form controls. In the form controls we can use a template. The template name is has user forms, and we can use ng forms, right? And in the template driven forms, if we need to communicate data from the HTML to TS, we can use ng models here. So based on the ng models, we can pass the first name. And also we have huge validation here, like first name is require minimum two characters. So we can use reference like first name reference, and we can pass the ng models. And based on the uh, object of first name ref, we have checked the invalid touched. This is the part of Angular validations, right? So I can show you. So in the Angular validations, what key we are using and what is the instance of that particular, or what is the meaningful of like invalids or touches and many more. So I can show you. Let's go to the below, right? Here you can see that. So if in the validations, if you call the like first name dot error, so it's return the list of error. And we have also in the validations, uh, like we can use a variable dot dirty true if the value had changed. Like in the input control, if the value had changed, then we can see that if is dirty is true. And touched means if touched when is true if input field is touched, and valid true if the input value had passed all the validations, then we can see that it's valid, right? So we can use if like user input is invalid, then we can show the first name is required, and if input is trust, we can trust anything in the input types. And similarly in the last name, phones, right? And in the gender, and we have a country, we have bind uh, through the ng. Force, we have list of uh, country in the countries array, right? And this is the buttons like submit types, and we have disable this uh, button, submit button, when if user form, or we can see that if user form is invalid, then we can disable the submit buttons. And if we submit, then we can record all the data from the, we can print the data form in the submitted data, right? I can quickly go to the ts, like how we can use, right? So in ts we can see that we have on submit uh, functions. In the on submit function, in the template driven forms, we can use uh, based on the, in the submit we have a pass. I can go to the submit method. Here you can see that we have passed the template name, that is user forms, and that is user form dot values from the first name. And similarly we can get all the values, right? So I can quickly show you. So I'm going to enter some test, last name Singh, and we can phone number, we have a mail, and country I'm going to select US. Now I'm going to submit. Here you can see that we get all the inputs data from the template driven variables, and we have used it here, right? Yeah, here you can see that. And the another one is reactive forms. So in the reactive forms, I already prepare example in the context controllers. So in the reactive forms, we can use form group, form controls, right? So in the form tags, we can use form groups. In the form groups, we have put the name of the form group, form controllers. This is the form group names basically. And in each inputs, we can use form control names. So form controls is basically is single inputs, and we can get all the data from the related to the single inputs in the one single collections, right? If we need to put some validation through the name, and you need to perform some any operation in the inputs type, then this is managed to the form controls, right? And similarly we have email, and if we you need to get the value from the inputs, then simply you can use form group name dot get, and we need to pass the form control name, that is email, and we can get all the properties of the this inputs. And after that we can use is invalid, touched, or dirty, we can use the properties of validations, right? And in the form group, in the form reactive forms, like we can usually write the code from the component side, ts side. So this is the name of the form groups. We have create a form builders, and in the form builders we have defined all the inputs here. We can put the based on the validations. All right, validation dot minimum length emails, and we can for fonts we can use regular expression here. And after that, on submit we can check the forms is valid, or if form is valid, and then we can or we can like log the form control value in the logs, or we I have also display in the submitted data in the form of form controls. So simply you can here it is quick simple. If you need to put the contact forms dot value dot names, here we can also get the value, and also we can use get and set if we need to modify or get the value from the any form controls here, right? So I can quickly more explain about. So this is the building blocks of our reactive forms in the Angular forms, like form controls, form groups, form array, and form records. So form controls is basically is represent the single inputs in Angular. So I already explained that. And so form group is basically its collection of form controls. Each form control is a property in a form group with control name as a key. Typical Angular form can have more than one form groups. A form group can also contain another form groups. And what is form array? Form array is similar to the form control, but there is one difference. In form group, each control is a property with the control names as a key we can use in the form controls. But in the form groups, we can say that. But in the form array, this is the form of the array. And in the form records, like if you need to create a dynamic forms, then we can usually use form records. So in the Visual Studio, I can show you. I already created a small demo to save our times. Now I'm going to see the validations. Here you can see that we need to put enter a valid email address, or if I put a single name, so I have add a validation. We need to require a minimum two characters, and in the phone I'm going to put some string value. Here we can see that we can use the validations here. Now I'm going to put a proper value here. Email address we can put here, in the phone numbers, and in the message. This is the example of reactive forms. Now I'm going to send. Here you can see that we can get all the value from the where we can put here. So thank you guys. Have a nice day and happy learning. And if you have any question, please put in the comment box. I will try to resolve it. Thank you. Happy learning.